Running Girl. Yeah, they don't have that movie. Running Girl. Okay, where was I? The girl's distracting. I was somewhere. I know it was. Oh yeah, Pyro. Yeah, so I didn't watch all of his videos. But yeah, he's just making the point that language is just it's a function. It's a labeling. It provides the means to the end. You have to have the words before you can build the vocabulary. You have to build it. It takes time to build it. But yeah, you also have to have the brain that's capable of processing the world as labels. And again, I'll go back to Helen Keller. I think that's what she did. She had these symbols for different things, but she didn't know what the hell they were. She knew they were different, that the hand jive for one thing was different than the hand jive for another thing. But she didn't understand that the hand jive was a symbol. It was a word. It was a label. And it's when she realized they're labels, then it all fell into place. And then she could start talking. So anyway, alright, so I'll go to conference report, I guess. And these videos haven't been great lately. No offense, but you know, just it's a little bit too, too abstractly bizarre. I mean, this whole feminism E equals MC squared shit. Who the fuck could care? I mean, really? God damn. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can do that with anything, can't you? I mean, there used to be a guy, cartoonist on Bozo the Clown Show, and he used to take your name, and he'd write your name on a piece of paper, and then he'd make it into something like a puppy dog or something. I mean, you know, you can do that. But that's, it really didn't fascinate the hell out of me. So anyway, so where was I? Yeah, so anyway, he made a video, and subtly, somewhere in there, I don't know if that was really the subject of his video, but there's this distinction between the stuff we can know and the stuff we have to say, I believe. He sort of drew this line for that video there's a difference between when we talk about ethics and when we talk about, dirt is brown, stuff that's real, where we got real facts, and places where it's a little harder argument. It's out there. It's in the word concept space. It doesn't have a natural reality. It has a reality as a concept. It's a big difference. It's a lot easier to argue when you can put something on a scale and say, see, it weighs 1 pound, and there can be no doubt about it. Then when you have to say, have an argument about what the impact of something is, or what the pragmatic end result is versus the principle violated. It's like, you could say stealing a loaf of bread. Irrelevant. I mean, who cares, a loaf of bread? But it's the principle that sort of matters. That stealing is not a good thing. If everybody steals a loaf of bread, well, then we got a big problem. So the ethics is more about the maintaining. It depends on what you're defining as the value. In some equations, there's not going to be a social interest or a big picture. There's just going to be individuals trapped in a circumstance. In other circumstances, it's the social necessity that's going to be important. The priority is to maintain the civilization. And I guess, obviously, you could say, if everybody thought it was okay to steal bread, we would lose our civilization. Where's fly? That would be a bad thing. I don't know why they're so vicious here. Well, it's the pool. There's a pool over here and a pool over there. So they know where the biteable people are. Where was I? Excuse me. Morning coffee didn't sit very well. Or a beep. Couldn't be out of memory yet. Alright, it's going to be a long video. Yeah, so this idea of what we can say and what we can't say as emphatically. And I think this is important stuff. And unfortunately, some of the most important questions still remain in that, you know, you've got to build it in the blank space. You have to build it in space and then expect somebody else to see it. You have to build it symbolically. You have to build the truth symbolically. And that's just more work. It's just hard to do. You know, I mean, it always comes down to this shit, but little simple things like, yeah, well, if everybody was like me, there wouldn't be a problem. We wouldn't even need to say, don't steal bread, because I already know not to steal bread. Just on a personal level, it would be an indignity to have to thieve for my bread. I refuse to thieve for my survival, so I don't need a rule. And I guess part of me would say, well, I also understand that, yeah, there's these things you got to do. You got to pay the piper, so to speak, for a civilization. And you throw all that away if, you know, you don't pay those prices, or if you're unwilling to. So, alright, memory is done on that little camera. So I got camera number 2, but I remember what I forgot, which are the extra batteries. So I might be in trouble here. We'll see. Anyway, yeah. So I think we can do some really explicit defining of things, and it's all about finding those premises, finding the foundational bits of truth. And once we establish that, we can do the utilitarian equations. We can do this is what's right in the largest practical frame we can possibly imagine. I mean, maybe in a frame where there are magic, snail people, and we're just, you know, in some maze they built, and they're laughing their ass off at us because they don't know what suffering is, or I don't know what the thing would be. But yes, in some kind of ludicrous frame, okay, then the whole thing breaks. But if we draw a nice rational frame, as wide as possible, and view what we're accomplishing and at what price we're paying for it, you know, what's being gained for the pain being paid, we can do the equation. And I sort of challenge Conference Report. You know, he doesn't really go there, but there's an implication to all this philosophy shit, all this talking about what we are and how we function. And you know, the implication is that we are just a manifestation of consumption and reproduction, that sentience was thrown into the mix as a survival tool, and then intelligence was thrown into the mix to maximize sentience as a motivational tool. And so that's it. We're driven to push our way through this corpse that is Earth, this biomass, this fertilizer, this manure, and like any other good worm, we push our way through and push our way through, and we reproduce, generally speaking, most people probably without much intention, but certainly with a capacity not to if they chose to, but no real regard. And like dumb animals, we reproduce without thought, without consideration for the consequences, without realizing that we're committing another generation to another fruitless and infertile trip through the manure pile, where they'll just become another piece of the humus to be eaten through and picked at and absorbed eventually into the mechanical parts of the next victims, the future victims. And it just goes on and on and on, and accomplishes nothing. We've been there, done that, over and over and over. And the reason why it goes on is because, you know, the futility isn't acquired at birth. The knowledge of it takes time to understand the trap of desire, endless want, and addiction. And that's the liability that people end up reproducing before they acquire that knowledge, and so we're fucked. And so people got to talk about it. People got to be made aware of it. People can't keep pretending that truth is not our context. And there's some of that in conference report guy. He sort of talks around a lot of stuff. And he sort of talks about the fun philosophy. You know, let's do some, you know, let's twist and bend the picture and see what kind of funny faces we can make each other make, or some kind of, I mean, he's a little